Welcome everybody back to Father Ted Talks. And today in this very special episode, we will be discussing another very kind of interesting topic that a lot of people have asked me about, and that is about parish councils. What are parish councils? Why do they exist? What do we do with them? Who serves on them? What are the types of people that should be serving on them? What do they do in the parish? And things like that. And so the reason why a lot of people ask me this is because even though here in North America we've kind of grown up with the idea of a parish council, some people who come from Greece and from other Orthodox countries, it might be a foreign concept to them because in Greece, for example, there really aren't that many parish councils as we understand them here. In Greece, the structure of the church is very different, where the priest himself, who is a government employee because the church is state-run, is the head administratively and spiritually of the local church. And so the priest is the one who kind of takes care of a lot of things that here in North America, the parish council takes care of. So the priest takes care of finances, takes care of fundraising. He may have volunteers to help out, like as far as ushering and tray collection and things like that in the church. But generally speaking, it is the priest who has more of the administrative power in Greece. But here in Canada and in North America, and indeed in a lot of Orthodox churches in the diaspora outside of kind of classical Orthodox countries, we have a slightly different model, a slightly kind of Western model, where there is a little bit of a balance of power between the local parish priest who's in that local church, and he's usually placed there and put in place by the local bishop. But then you also have the parish council, which is usually an elected group of people who are Orthodox Christians who kind of fulfill the administrative and practical aspects of the running of the local parish. And so these people usually take care of fundraising, paying the bills, maintenance of the building, construction, things like that. All these kind of everyday aspects, the business side, I guess you could say, of the parish. Now, I don't like using the term the business side because as a parish, as a family, as a local community, all aspects have a spiritual dimension, right? All aspects kind of help and should be helping people coming to an encounter with Christ, as we've said before in other videos, right? So the priest's job is to preach the gospel, to administer the sacraments, to be there and to help people with spiritual guidance. Every aspect of the Orthodox faith, kind of falls on the shoulders of the priest for spiritual guidance. And the parish council, even though they are tasked with kind of like the more mundane things, people would say, the fundraising or the paying of the bills, the ushering, the cleaning, all these other kind of things that happen, those two are ministries within the church. Management within the church, and good management is extremely important and also helps in the betterment of the faith and also in the spreading of the gospel. And so if you have a well-run church that is, organized properly, that provides orderly and beautiful services, that is transparent both financially and administratively, that kind of instills in its people a sense of being part of a community, of wanting to help and to express volunteerism, that is also part of the ministry of the church, right? If you have a dysfunctional board, if you have a dysfunctional council that perhaps is fighting or infighting amongst itself, or fighting with the priest is fighting with the council, or there is chaos that comes from these kind of things, then of course that affects the spiritual life of the church, and that is not a good thing at all. So I just want to kind of cover a little bit of what a parish council does and why it's so important. So first of all, if we look at, for example, our local constitution, not only here at my particular parish, but the uniform parish bylaws, as we call them, of our Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of Canada, which are the governing kind of bylaws that govern our parishes and the structure of our parishes and the administration, we see that who is allowed to serve on a church council? Well, or on a parish council. They have to be at least 18 years of age. They have to be, legally an adult, and they have to be an Orthodox Christian, like a baptized Orthodox Christian in good standing. What does that mean? It means that the person, of course, has to be of the Orthodox faith because they are tasked to be a leader and a steward of an Orthodox community, and so they have to be of the same faith, and they have to be a participating Orthodox Christian in good standing, which means that they have to believe that they, in the Orthodox faith. They have to practice their Orthodox faith, which means participating in the sacraments, Holy Communion and confession. If they're married, they need to be married within the Orthodox Church, not outside of the church. All these kind of things that are expected of an Orthodox Christian, they have to be doing these things, as all of us are called to do these things as Orthodox Christians. And so the parish council member should be a model, should be a good example of what it is to be an Orthodox Christian and a leader within the community. And so those are the people who are eligible. And of course, they are elected usually at, either yearly or every 2 years or every 3 years, depending on the local constitution. They are elected with elections from the general, congregation, from the members of the church, and they serve their term. And of course, there are positions on the board, president and vice president, treasurer, secretary, and then other different kind of positions that local parishes, councils might have, like fundraising or, events committee or, church committee, all these different types of committees that exist. And of course, these types of committees, they exist again for the good order of things. Like, for example, here at Prophet Elias, we have, a president, we have 3 vice presidents. One vice president is dedicated towards the building maintenance, kind of taking care and organizing all the needs of the facilities. If we need construction, we need maintenance, we need repairs, things like that. One of the VPs is tasked with those things. Another VP is tasked with kind of human resources, managing all the different volunteers, the different groups that we have, Philoptos and youth and dance and other philanthropic organizations, the choir. All these different groups require a coordinator to kind of interact and talk and help them kind of with whatever they might need, or also to help to resolve conflicts along with the priest. And so one of our VPs is tasked with that. Our third VP is tasked with the church services, so working in conjunction with the priest, with the chanter, with the choir, and any of the needs of the liturgical life of the church, which are many. Making sure that the services run smoothly, like the tray comes out at the right time, that there are not disturbances within the divine liturgy, that things are prayerful, that we have everything we need for special services. All these kind of things fall under the purview of this particular individual. Again, this is a specific example of what we do here at this particular parish. Other parishes might have different positions or different people tasked with different roles. Of course, secretary takes minutes in the meetings, is sending out emails, sending out letters and mailers and things like that. The treasurer, of course, which may be more than one, takes care of the finances, makes sure that the finances are transparent, that the funds are used for the appropriate reasons from different donors and all that kind of stuff, to make sure that the church is fiscally responsible, that we are able to kind of be financially independent, to be able to continue the work that we do. And of course, these are all aspects that have to happen. And then, of course, there are other board members who may be doing other things, like, for example, events, fundraising, and the such. And so all these people, they give of their time freely. None of them are paid. They come in, they spend hours at the church trying to kind of help the church run smoothly, right? And so, a lot of times people kind of get perhaps intimidated by the councils, because they say, well, I don't want to serve on the council. Maybe it's too much work. Maybe it's like, it's too much drama, too many politics, all these kind of things that people like to say. But in the end, generally speaking, most people are there because they love the church and because they want to do the best they can. And I've been personally, blessed that this is my third parish, and I've had 3 very wonderful parish councils from the time I was in Winnipeg, my first parish, to the time I was at St. Constant and Helen, which was my previous parish, and to this current parish that I'm at. I've had wonderful people to work with, and never had any conflicts, never had any bad experiences with my boards. And so if there's love and if there's respect, mutual respect for people, and we all kind of understand the common goal, which is to make people come to Christ, to facilitate that encounter, that mystical encounter with Christ. If everybody understands that that is the goal of the church, then there is no conflict. Now, of course, sometimes if there are board members, there are individuals who don't understand what the church is there to do, like what is the purpose and the existence of the church. If they see the church, for example, as a cultural center simply, or as a social club where people just come together in a secular way, and they are not really kind of understanding the spiritual goal of it, then perhaps they shouldn't be on the council, because their views of what the church is will be in conflict, not only with the priest, but with other people on the board, right? So it is so important to understand that the church is first a church, and then everything else is secondary, and everything else, all the other programs, as we've said in other videos, kind of are supplementary. They help bring people towards Christ, because ultimate salvation is really the goal of the church and nothing else. Everything else is secondary. Everything else on its own, without that ultimate goal, becomes a worldly, secular endeavor, which takes people away from Christ not towards Christ. And so the parish council is a wonderful opportunity. It is a really great, opportunity for people to help, to be able to express and to offer their talents to the church, right? And everybody has different talents, whether they be organizational, whether it be financial, whether they be fundraising, whether they be creative. All these things, are needed by parish councils. They're needed by the priest. They're needed by the president, and they're needed by the church as a whole. And so I do encourage people to kind of always think about how they can contribute to their church, not just in individual programs, but on the parish council level, which is kind of like the brain of the parish. But what they do is so essential, and it's really a thankless job. It is a wonderful job to do, and I think everybody, all Orthodox Christians, should really consider at least once in their lifetime to you perhaps serve on a parish council, to be able to get that experience and to understand and to really appreciate what it takes to run a church, what it takes to keep a church going. Just even from a practical point of view, from a financial point of view, from an organizational point of view. People who don't understand these things, who maybe just go to church on a regular Sunday, are ignorant of these things. Sometimes they fail to appreciate how much work goes into kind of having those doors open for you to be able to go pray and to be able to have a place to seek out spiritual help, or just a safe place to go when we need something, when we need Christ, we need God in our lives, right? So I thank everybody, including my current parish, but all parish council members everywhere in the world who kind of give selflessly of their time to keep our beautiful parishes running. And I do hope that people who have not done it yet will consider it in the future. So that is at least a little bit about parish councils and what they do from a day-to-day basis. I hope this video was helpful. We will see everybody in the next 2 weeks. Till then, take care and God bless.